Hello and welcome to the December edition of Community Connect with the Marshall Area Chamber of Commerce. And this month's guest is a very familiar face, Chad Wyffels, one of the owners of Borch's. And thanks for being our guest this month.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having me.
Yep. So let's kind of kick off today's edition and recap November. A lot of things went on in November before we got shut down in later November. But so let's talk about what happened, because there's a lot of good things that happened, including the election. Once again, Lyon County should be very proud of themselves with the big numbers, the big turnout at the turnout. So Lyon County had just under 13,000 voters, 90% of the possible registered voters in Lyon County. Very solid for Minnesota, or for Lyon County. Minnesota, of course, had high numbers again nationwide, and good job, Lyon County and the state of Minnesota. On November 17th and 18th, we had a MnDOT. We partnered with MnDOT. College Drive is going to be under construction in 2025. It's going to be from 4th Street by Westside Grade School all the way to Bruce Street, which is near Speedway gas station. It's going to be a construction project. So we had 2 virtual sessions, and a lot of the business owners along that stretch were able to kind of chime in. What they talked about was a lot the recommendations for the intersections, right all the way, again, from 4th Street all the way to Bruce. And thanks to everybody that dialed in on that project. Our Young Professionals group also met in November. They had 2 guests from the City Marshal. They had Lauren Deitz, our Economic Development Director, and Sharon Hansen, who is the City Administrator. And thanks again to everybody that showed up. Good discussions, and it's always nice to hear an update from the city. Last Thursday, of course, is Thanksgiving, and each and every single year, there's a ton of runners that come out of the YMCA. Chad, do you run?
I used to run.
Yeah.
I don't run anymore, though.
Yeah, yeah. So normally, you know, the GobbleWobble has got about, I don't know, probably over 200 runners. This year they had 161, and they actually had to dial it back 3 different times. They're going to have they're going to run in intervals, and then it was a matter of, then they got dialed back to come in earlier week, get your running package, and then get out of your car and start running. And then it ended up that the runners just ran on their own, which was fine. In fact, I went to church that Thursday morning, last Thanksgiving morning, and I saw some runners over by Legion Field Road. So they didn't even have a course. They just, as long as they ran a 5K, and then probably didn't even need to run a 5K, as long as they just got out and try to get some fitness in before they stuffed themselves for the day. So thanks to everybody that ran, and this is a fundraiser for the Y, so I'm grateful for that. Light Up the Night started last Friday night, and obviously this was another event that was dialed back, and it was kicked off with the fireworks, and I was just talking to one of the photographers here, cameramen, right before we got on here today. They were talking about how amazing the fireworks, and I didn't make it to the fireworks, but I am grateful for the Marshall community that does this every single year. Chad, I know you and your family get out there.
Oh yes, definitely. We've been there several times. It's beautiful. It's great to see, and it's good to see all the support that it does give.
Yeah, good business support. A lot of different tree sponsors. But one of the cool things on a normal year, what it really benefits is a lot of our businesses. You get all these people coming from out of town, or just driving by Highway 23 and stopping and wanting to drive through. And while they're here, you know, where are they going to go shopping? Where could they, go get a bite to eat? So I'm thankful that the Prairie Home Hospice continues to do this. And lastly, and this is a natural segue with my discussion here today with Chad. Last Friday and Saturday, obviously Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, it's kind of the kickoff to shopping season. However, it's been kind of a month-long thing for a lot of businesses. So I went out both days with my kids, one kid one day, one kid the other day. Stores seemed pretty busy, and it kind of ebbed and flowed is what I kind of heard from a lot of the owners. So I'm very thankful for everybody that got out, that are planning on going out for future upcoming weekends, and just keeping their dollars here local, shopping local. You're going to hear it over and over again how important it is, especially this year, to do all your shopping local. So, and again, as I said, this is a good segue to our discussion here with Chad. So, as I mentioned, Chad Wyffels is our guest today. He's one of the owners over at Borch's. Chad has been in his Marshall his whole life, including graduating from SSU back in the day. Chad, he started with what was then called Poor Borch's back in 1976, and helped the business evolve into more an overall sporting goods business in the mid-'80s. 1997 is when the building was built, right there on College Drive as well, across from Lockwoods. And right now he's in the transition of selling the store to longtime employees Mike Gallagher and Steve Sousa. Again, Chad, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So, the focal point to today's discussion is, especially with youth, is going to be shopping local. Many commercials on TV are talking about shopping local, more than I've ever seen.
Right.
And even major credit card companies like Visa, Capital One, of course, American Express, who's the major sponsor for Small Business Saturday, are talking about how critical it is to support the local businesses. Good to see. So, Chad, how critical in your eyes, considering you've been a longtime owner here at Borch's, not just retailers, but other businesses and like restaurants, how critical is it to support those local businesses?
It's very important, especially this year with a lot of our businesses being shut down, especially for 60, 90, 100 days this summer. We were fortunate that we were essential business because of our, it's hard to say, is it because of our firearm business and gun business that we were considered essential, so we got to stay open, and so we were very fortunate in that instance. But I mean, with COVID going on right now and the times that they were shut down, right now they need the support that they can get.
Right. I mean, you think back to mid-March, some of the businesses in town have been at 50% or lower the whole time. Retailers, thankfully, the dial was turned all the way to 100% mid-November. Unfortunately, restaurants and gyms have been dialed back. But you're right. I mean, and I'm on these calls with Deed throughout the week, and they're like, what businesses need it the most? I'm like, well, all of them do, but especially the ones that haven't been at 100% since mid-March. And that was, retailers and, of course, the restaurants have been really hurting, and, of course, the gyms as well. So I have a related question to the last one. Borch's recently came out with a buy local promotion that shows the willingness to collaborate with other businesses in town. I love seeing this with the businesses. Ace Hardware does the same thing. A lot of the others do it. How important is it to collaborate with each other?
Well, I think it's very important. I mean, we need to support each other, especially now, just because we need support, we need help, we need people shopping local. And yes, we did come out with this gift card redemption thing that Amy at the store came up with, and it's a great idea. Basically, how it works is you go down to your local businesses and small businesses, and we have probably 20 to 25 businesses that are on the list. And how it works is you say you went down to Mr. Cool's and you bought $100 worth of clothing at Mr. Cool's. You come to Borch's with that receipt, and we give you a $5 gift card for what you bought at Mr. Cool's, and you can use that gift card at Borch's towards something that you're going to buy at Borch's.
Right.
So it goes and it goes all the way up to close to $1,000. So if you bought $850, you're going to get an $85 gift card. So it's a great idea. It gets people in our store, gets them buying more and supporting our local businesses.
Right. I mean, the first 2 weeks it's for hair salons and hair salons and hair salons and whatever the other one was, I forget. And then for the first 2 weeks, and that's the third and fourth week is for the restaurants and the boutiques downtown. So and then you turn in those receipts, you bring them over to Chad and his team, and then they'll take care of the rest. So absolutely. Yep. So let's talk about online shopping. So today, as we record this, today is Tuesday. It's called Giving Tuesday. We're thankful for everybody out there that's doing their duty doing that today. So let's talk about online shopping. Of course, the big day was Cyber Monday, which I tend to look over because I don't want people buying online unless it's going to be to some of our online shops in town, which there are a few. 405 Loft has some online services, and so does Cocoa Avenue and a few others. So how do we get people to make that shift? People are so familiar with going on Amazon and Target.com. How do we get people to make that shift from going back from online to shopping downtown and throughout? I don't want to just think about downtown. You think about the College Drive, your store, up and down Highway 23, even the big boxes. There's some local stores over there. How do we make that shift and get people to come back over to local shopping?
Well, I think we have to make it convenient.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be convenient. I mean, you got to have some flexible hours. I think you have to have great customer service. I think when you get your customers in the store, you got to take care of your customers. Obviously, you don't want, some people, you know, they just want to come in and shop on their own, but there are people that want help.
Right.
They want to know where something is or selection is. You got to have your salesmen or sales ladies there helping to make sure that they're getting waited on. Also, I think selection is a very, very good thing. I mean, you got to have, if you're into clothing or into whatever, and depending on what your clothing is, have a good selection. Once again, fair pricing. I think fair pricing is there. But I think it all comes down to customer service. I think customer service is so important. I mean, you go to Amazon or you go to Walmart online or whatever, and there's no shopping experience
Right.
there. I mean, it's just blah. You get your item, you get it in a box, you open it up. Half the time you're probably sending it back because it isn't the right size
Right.
or doesn't fit or whatever. We have local people here that can help you get the right thing you want. And
Right.
I think that's the main thing.
Right. I was gonna, and you touched on it. Is if I'm gonna come to Borch's, or if I'm gonna go somewhere in town and buy shoes, the idea of buying a pair of shoes online just blows my mind, because you want to, even if it's your size, it doesn't always make it.
Yeah.
You don't know if it's gonna be that comfortable. So you just trying on a pair of shoes seems logical to me.
I mean, for us, if say it's a Nike compared to an Asics, there's a half a size to 3/4 of a size difference.
Yeah.
I mean, every time everybody comes in, they say, "Oh, these Nikes run small," and that's, if you're shopping online, you don't know that.
Right.
You know, so, and every shoe is a little different, whether it's a dress shoe or a casual shoe or
Right.
or whatever. Yeah, it's hard for me to realize that too. I'm probably more old school than most people, but
Right.
it's just a shopping experience to go out and support your local community. I
Right.
think it's
Yeah.
great.
We need more people to kind of buy into the same Kool-Aid that you and I drink right now.
Yeah,
And,
there you go.
And it's just so important. So I'm pretty active on Marshall Radio, and I have an ad out there. It says, out of $1, 68 cents of every dollar stays in the community. Payroll, tax revenue, sponsorships, or donations. And when it's explained like this, maybe that will register with more people, because what businesses do you see sponsoring those youth sports teams? When you see kids out on the basketball court or out in the playing flag football, what business do you see on the back? You see Borch's, and you see R&G, and you see all these other companies. Bisbee is a big sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
You see all these. Amazon isn't going to put their label on the back of a shirt.
No, I've never printed one shirt with Amazon on the back for a local sports team.
Right.
I mean, the people that are supporting these teams, they're forking out $300 to $400 to have their name put on a shirt and sponsor these teams. And I think it's the least we can do is to go into that store and say thank you.
Yeah.
Even if you don't buy some, say thank you for supporting Jimmy's softball team,
Right.
or whatever. I think that is so important.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, and then take that one step further. Some of these people, you know, if you're buying online, but you also sit on a committee for your kids' a silent auction event or fundraiser event, and then you're going over to Borch's, or you're going over to Mr. Cool's or Bots or wherever and asking for a gift card. Well, that doesn't seem right either.
No.
So
I think you're right. I mean, if you're going to have your son or daughter or wherever on a team and buying, and then going to Amazon and buying the same thing you could buy in a store or similar, that just doesn't seem right.
Right,
I
it
mean,
doesn't.
that's old school good.
Yeah.
That's me. I
Yeah.
mean, you support the town, support the community.
right.
You know.
Absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
good. Yeah, so if there was, and you kind of talked about the deal, and you're right, Amy really came up with a winner of a deal, and I really want you to take the watchers to take advantage of this deal. The details are on the Borch's Facebook page. There is a new group that the chamber created that I want you to go find. It's called Live Local Marshall, MN. And Amy's video is on there where she explains the gift card program. And then also what Chad's got in front of him, and is the amount of businesses that they're collaborating with, and it's all local businesses, including Mike's Cafe, which is going to be reopening even during the shutdown. They're reopening this upcoming weekend.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't think they're open every day, but it's good to see Ross and his team at Mike's Cafe ready to get open again. So let's talk about really quick what we have coming up in December. Obviously, not nearly as many things in December to talk about as we usually do. Obviously, there's usually the light show out here on campus, and there's all sorts of things that we can talk about. Things are dialed back, and hopefully we can get back things open back by December 19th, but we shall see. This upcoming Thursday, I would encourage you to go to our website and register for a kind of a State of Avera event. It is going to be a Zoom event with the two interim CEOs, Kurt Homan and Mark Vortherms, and they're going to be talking about the president and CEO search. They're going to be talking about the Carlson Street building. Of course, it's empty right now. What is the future for that? So maybe they'll be talking about the light at the light end of the tunnel, which is the vaccine. Of course, that's some of the hottest news right now, which it should be. So if you're not registered for that, I would encourage you to dial in for that. I think we have about 80 to 85 people that are registered. So if you're interested in that, register for that. Another Shop Local initiative, this time by the Marshall Downtown Business Association, is happening this upcoming weekend. It's called the Sparkle Downtown Holiday Event. They have a game card. You can pick up a game card at a couple of different locations, and then you go from location to location, and then it's kind of like a bingo card. You can just kind of get it checked off. And of course, you're going to do some shopping while you're out there. Light Up the Night is still happening, and you can, once the ground is frozen, and of course today as we sit down here it's like 45 degrees out, then they're going to let people drive through and see the lights, which will be nice. And I drove by, and it just seems like there's just more lights this year, Chad.
Yes, it's very nice.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, and in each and every year, and I see more and more lights, and again, congratulations to Tara and her team for getting all that done. Drive-through is normally going to be open on Saturday and Sunday evenings out at Light Up the Night out at Independence Park, and then walkers, obviously you can go walk through with your family any other nights. Of course, the latest governor's executive order is set to expire on the 18th, as I mentioned. And if this stays that way, we do encourage you to go back safely to our restaurants after the 19th. Get out and support them. But as I did use the word safely, so go back to our restaurants, go back to our gyms, go to the Lyon County Museum. Jennifer is going to have a beautiful display out at the museum, as she always does. She'll get the Christmas tree walk through there with your family, get some voting. I think she wants you to vote for the best Christmas tree that's on display. But of course, do it all in a safe manner, as we all have been doing already. Movie theaters, hopefully we'll be back by then. The movie theater is actually a great way to buy some stocking stuffers. I was talking to the two cameramen right before this, and they're really big into movies. In fact, I'd encourage you to dial in and listen to them. Their show should be out. They're kind of the new version of Siskel and Ebert. So dial into them and see what they all have to say about the movies coming out on December 19th. So all these updates can be found on our website. Our website is marshallmn.org. Visit marshallmn.com is the tourist website. And also the Facebook group is called Live Local Marshall, MN. Our businesses are putting deals on there left and right. So if you want to kind of plan out your upcoming weekend about the Sparkle event or whatever, check that out, because they're putting all the deals out there on the group. So again, Chad, thanks for being my guest. Thanks again for tuning in to the December edition of Community Connect. Next month I have interim Marshall Public Schools Superintendent Jeremy Williams, who will be my guest. Of course, lots of things will happen by then. We'll have Christmas, we'll have New Year's, hopefully more news about vaccine and distributions, and kind of, again, the light at the end tunnel. So, Chad, have a Merry Christmas.
Same to you.
And have and everybody, all the watchers out there, Merry Christmas, have a Happy New Year's, and we'll see you again in January.